Hi guys. I am teaching myself how to sew. Now I can hand sew relatively well. I can fell seams, I can mend clothes. I've even made a doll. Hold on, I'll show you. She's naked though, so, you know, don't mind her. But yeah, so like I did all this by hand. I can hand sew, but I'm not very good at machine sewing only because I haven't really, I've played around a little bit with it, but nothing serious. There's a lot of projects that I would like to do that would be faster with a machine. That's why I want to learn how to do that. Now, true Kim style would be, and it almost happened, to go purchase like a treadle machine from like the 1800s, right? And that would have been true me style. But I don't have money for one of those. But what I do have is I have a sewing or a Singer simple sewing machine that I've had for years. So we're gonna do what we can with what we have. I have already started this process by, I made a really simple project. I made coasters. We've always used coasters. Our table furniture in the living room is all like real wood that I've sanded and finished and did all the things on. So I want to be careful with it, right? So we've always used coasters. Now in the past, I've made crocheted coasters out of 100% cotton thread or yarn, and they're great, they're fabulous. But we've had them for like 4 years now, maybe a little bit longer, and they are showing their age. Now, for those of you who don't know how to sew and would like to, coasters or like hot pads or like a fabric trivet for your kitchen, those would be really good, simple things to start with, or like a tote bag, an apron, things like that. But this, you're not even putting a tie on it. Like it is what it is. So here's what I did. Now you may already have fabric around to make these out of, so use what you have. I didn't, I had nothing. I had nothing stashed, nothing. But what I did was, first I tried Walmart and I looked through their fabric section, but I did nothing trip my trigger. So then I went to Hobby Lobby and I found what I was looking for. I picked up just a package each I just picked 2 fat squares that I liked. And at my Hobby Lobby, they were $1.49 a piece. So $3, I'll take it. And then from Walmart, I picked up this. So this is cotton batting, and this is for like 100% natural cotton batting, but it's for like it's microwave safe or whatever. I don't even have a microwave. It was the cheapest one. It was $10 for this whole thing. So that's why I picked it up. The fabric that I'm using is also 100% cotton. I like that because it's absorbent. Well, let me show you how I put them together. I'm only gonna make one to show you because as you've seen, I've already made 4. I have a white marking pen. You can also use Taylor's chalk, or they make white pencils specifically for this, which I have, I just can't find. So what I'm doing is I cut each of my squares out to be 5.5 inches a piece, because you're gonna need a 1/4 inch seam allowance for the whole way around it. So then I just marked it. And then do the same thing for the other color that I'm using. Do the same thing for the cotton batting that you're going to use. And cut with fabric scissors. I can't stress how important it is to keep your fabric scissors only for fabric. Don't be lazy and get tempted to cut something else real quick with them. You can cut these out with scissors like I'm doing, or you can use a rotary cutter, which I have a rotary cutter, but I need a new blade so bad it won't even cut. Now, what you're gonna do, so you've got your fabric cut out, and what you're gonna do is put your batting down, and on top of that, you're gonna put, now this fabric here, they're both wrong sides, they're both right sides, right? So, but you would put it, we would put these 2 pieces of fabric right sides together so that you're looking at it like this. So you're looking at the wrong side, the right side, you're batting. Because this whole thing is going to get flipped inside out. Line these all up. There we go. And then you can pin it, or I have these clips, which are infinitely easier to use. Okay, and now we're gonna go sew these. Okay, now on my machine, the right side of my presser foot is a 1/4 inch. It just happens to work out. I don't know if all machines are like that. Like I said, this was my first day. You wanna start sewing like here, not at a corner, because you need to leave a gap at the top so that you can turn your work inside out, and you're gonna need that room. So I'm gonna start sewing like here on the edge. And then you want to stop with the needle down about a quarter of an inch from the other side. Lift up your presser foot and just turn your work, and then you won't lose your space. As you're going, make sure that you're flattening your work out, because the mistake I made on one of these, let me show you. Oh, it's this one right here. There is a tuck that shouldn't be there because I was not being very diligent about making sure that this was flat. So you're gonna stop where you've got that gap so that you can turn this work inside out. However, before you do that, you're gonna cut off the bulk on the corners and all the way around here. It's gonna make your seam inside a lot crisper. Don't cut into where you sewed because it'll wreck everything. Okay, and now I have all the bulk cut off. We are gonna open up the 2 pieces of fabric and you're gonna turn it inside out. So I like to reach down for one of the corners and pull that through first. That way you're not putting so much stress on your seams. And then it should turn out inside out pretty quick, or right side out pretty quick. So I just used a pen. You can use a chopstick. I don't recommend using your scissors because you could poke a hole right through your project. And then use that to kind of work your corners and your edges out. Great example. I had cut my thing too close to the seam and it ripped it open. That's fine, I can fix it. But anyway, so pretend that didn't happen. But yeah, so now you gotta close this end up. And all you're gonna do for that is you just kind of have to roll over the opening and then sew it closed. You have a couple options. You can do it on the machine or you can do it by hand. At first I was gonna do it by hand because I know how to do a hidden seam here, but I thought, well, we're using the machine, so let's do it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and finish it on the machine. Okay, so I got to sewing and I forgot to turn the camera back on. I was talking to myself and everything. Okay, anyway, so so I fixed my boo-boo and then I closed it back up. So I mean, it's not great where I made the mistake, but it's fine. So anyway, so now you can do the rest of this part however you want to do. What I did was I sewed another 1/4 inch around the whole thing, or away from the edge, and then I also did an X across the middle, and that's it. So that's how I did. You can see the stitching better on this side, but that's how I did it. You can do this however you want. But I think it came up pretty good, and I think it's probably a really good first project. That was my first project. I think they came out okay. I mean, they're not professional, but that's okay, because neither am I. But they're useful, and they feel pretty darn sturdy, to be honest. I'm pretty proud of them. I might make another set for the kitchen, something that's more kitchen appropriate, maybe some chickens or, I don't know, mushrooms or something, I don't know. I don't know what my next project's gonna be. There's a few things that I need around here, so I like the idea of making things that are practical before making things that are fun, although making things that just for funsies is cool. Hopefully this was encouraging to some of you who wanna try something new and just try it, you know, try with things you already have, with supplies, materials that you already have in your house, or things that are really expensive like I did. Like I said, I paid $10 for the cotton batting and then $1.50 for each of the quarters of fabric. Go to the thrift store. That's another really good place to find fabric really inexpensively. Bed sheets, yeah, bed sheet will go a long way.
Another year